Hello everyone, Storm 101 here. Today we'll be talking about some severe weather potential that'll be going on across the Central Plains, the Orphan Plains, and even into the Midwest here. We got some things to really talk about, some severe weather, and there'll be some absurdities as well, but it's definitely some worth to mention about this. So let's go ahead and get started with the Storm Prediction Center's outlook here. So this is day one. We got a slight risk for severe weather across southeastern Wyoming, southwestern Nebraska, northwest Kansas, and pretty much eastern Colorado as well. You see, there is a little small tornado threat, but it's not that too big of a deal. Damaging winds, and there can also be some very large hail as well. So definitely something to really keep an eye on. You also have a couple of marginal risks out there as well. Day two, not really too big of a deal, much of a day at all. You get a marginal risk, pretty much in the west, just west of the Rockies there. And you do have another marginal risk for the portions of the Carolinas into portions of the Mid-Atlantic. Then on day three, things start to uh, stuff to really watch for here. We do have a marginal risk for severe weather, pretty much for the Dakotas and even for northwestern Minnesota. And really, day three and is something to watch for it. And I'll likely say this probably in tomorrow's update. I'll say this here will definitely change quite a bit, and I'll show you guys that in a moment. Then you got day four here. You got a 15% slight risk for northern Nebraska and central and southern South Dakota there. Right now, the primary threat is looking to be damaging winds, where we can see the possibility for a MCS. And day three is also a possibility for MCS as well. So um, we'll just go ahead and take a look into those days here. So here's day three, which is Friday here. You can see here the name's not really picking up till pretty much later in the night. You can see there on the top of the screen there, it goes from north portions of North Dakota into Minnesota, and it just dies out into Wisconsin there. So really, primary threat with that will be damage winds, and the hail threat and the tornado threat should be staying low with that there. Although the European model does show a little bit different story on that day there. You can see here how those storms really start to get going, especially across southern Manitoba there in Canada, and they become a pretty large storm cluster there. So definitely need to watch this very closely here with this here. You can see the wind gusts, even the winds are picking it up. You can see wind gusts 45 miles per hour, but I'm pretty sure in high res it's definitely going to be stronger than that. There you can see that storm cluster move to the southeast fairly quickly. I mean, 4 o'clock in the morning, it's already into portions of Iowa, Minnesota, and even into Wisconsin. And it still just kind of continues on and just dies out into Missouri. It there. Then you move on to day four with the European model. You can see there, here comes your another MCS that develops and pushes eastward and then kind of dies out. And it seems like some new clusters will develop there. But let's go back to the NAM first. You can see here the NAM kind of shows this here. It's not that impressive, but it does indicate a cluster of thunderstorms can develop somewhere in Nebraska, and it's actually a little bit further south. Look into this, even to portions of Kansas. So it really models don't really do a good job with MCSs. They are hard to predict um, as well. So there's going to be some uncertainties out there. But you can see here with the Storm Prediction Center last night, Dev has enough confidence to issue a 15%, which we'll likely see that shift around for the next couple of days. Right now, it doesn't seem like we're having that great of an agreement here. I mean, here's the GFS on it. You can see here, it develops a little bit further north, in northern South Dakota, and it moves into Minnesota there, which is stuff very interesting. So we got a pretty large spread in models here for right now. But definitely something we'll watch for is Sunday here. Now the NAM does not go that far out. I mean, that's the max. That's Sunday night there. But we got the European model in the GFS model here. There's still some uncertainties on this day here, but definitely something we need to monitor here. So if we go ahead and move on to later Sunday evening, you can see here we got a small MCS or storm cluster going on into northeastern Iowa, and then you got a very large storm cluster really going on in Dakotas, Nebraska, and even into Minnesota. Now, with this here, there is a cold front coming in here. Your low pressure system is up there in the north and with a trailing front. You can see here how we kind of progress here. If we turn on to the lightning intensity, you can see the numbers are very high with 35.13 there. So some pretty high numbers there. Even that smaller MCS there as well. Now this is likely going to change, but the models are really starting to predict that there could be an MCS or possibility of a derecho. And you can see here how long this cluster lasts. I mean, it lasted to Monday morning across Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, even into Kentucky and Ohio. So definitely something to watch there. But GFS shows a little bit of a different story on it. You can see here it is right there. And it actually kind of moves eastward into Wisconsin and Michigan. Even some new storms develop into Missouri. So two different stories there, but really Sunday is definitely a day to really watch for, in my opinion here. And so the big players will be how much instability there will be, and also how the winds are at the 500 millibar level. So this is the GFS here, and you can see there is plenty of instability around 4 o'clock, and then you move on to 7 o'clock. Yeah, there's a lot of instability out there, so there's not really much of a problem at all with instability here. You can see 5,000 plus, pretty widespread here. If you look into the European model, it's a little bit of a smaller area, but you can see here it does show some isolated higher amounts, like 6,200. That's very high still. You can see here with your storm clusters right here, and you still got pretty high amounts of instability around 1 o'clock in the morning. And I believe that's Eastern time there. You can see here still overnight, and it may try to continue into Monday here, which at this point here, it's right in this area in here. Still got some instability to work with, but if we look into the 500 millibar winds here, you can see here, this is one way telling of which way it can go. You can see here, northwest flow there across these regions in here, and you know with northwest flows here, northwest flows can cause, storm clusters. Not all the time, but, with a setup like this here, it can cause some storm clusters here if the conditions are right. You can see here how this is kind of progress here, and then it starts to turn a little bit towards to the northwest here, getting later into Sunday here. You can see here it kind of turns a little bit more to the west, but and then your MCS really starts to move a little bit to the northwest there. So there's still uncertainties with this here of where it's going to be going. If you look into the GFS here, showing a very strong winds at 500 millibars. And you can see with the wind direction, first on here, it's showing a little bit more to the west. So this MCS may not move south, not move, not move down southeastward towards like the Lower Ohio Valley areas. It may go to the west. With the winds, coming from the west, the storms will be moving more eastward than southeast, more southeast there. So there's still quite a bit of uncertainty there. That's why the GFS is showing to go more west. If you look into the instability, again here, there's not really much of a problem at all either way. If it goes to the southeast, it won't have a problem. If it continues west, it won't have a problem either. With the European model, it's showing a little bit different here, but either way here, definitely something to really keep an eye on. Although it does show it increasing um, later in the night as well, if it continues to move eastward. Now, let's look into the Climate Prediction Center's outlook here. We're only going to look for the 6 to 10 days here. You can see here the west is looking to be cooler than normal. You can see the northeast is looking to be pretty warm, and even across the southwest here as well. Although, if you look into precipitation, you can see where they have a above average across portions of Illinois, southeastern Missouri, most of Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, portions of West Virginia, um, really the Appalachian Mountains, and really the Tennessee Valley as well. So we definitely need to really monitor this very closely here of how things are going to turn out, especially 6 to 10 days. And, if we go back here to the European model, I mean, after that, it still shows some more clusters, especially if you go a little bit down southeast here. You see there's a storm cluster right there. There's a little storm cluster there, and some more there. And there goes another one there. So definitely something to keep an eye on. You can see the GFS showing some multiple storm clusters as well out ahead of it. But really beyond, Sunday, things will likely change there. And models don't really do a good job with MCSs as well. Which, if you do not know what MCS stands for, that's a mesoscale convective system there as well. But anyways, guys, this is all I got for you guys today. Well, I do have an announcement to make here, and I did do a poll on Twitter here, see what type of video you guys want. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at TieStorm101 101. There, you can follow me on Twitter, and you can vote there for my polls. And I don't do it quite often. I do it sometimes, but I gave you guys two options. If you guys want a severe weather, which that's what this here is, or you guys want to do a fall thoughts video. And since it's around 50-50, I'll do two videos, but depending on, I don't know if I'll have enough time to do fall thoughts tonight, but we will see about that. But really, the main announcement is that I will not have any videos beginning tomorrow, which is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I will be back to making videos on Sunday, which good news is really during around my camping trip, things like weather's not going to be that active except for some severe weather, which we're going to keep an eye on that. And there may be a fall thoughts video tonight. It just depends if I have enough time for it for tonight. But anyways, guys, this is all for you guys today. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy this severe weather update. If you guys would like this video, hit that like button. If you really do like my channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notifications so you never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, you can put in the comment section down below. I'll answer you guys' questions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.